Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I am here with the last week of our All About Fall YouTube hop. I hope you guys have enjoyed this hop. I hope you have followed along, hopped with us, made some fall decorations, some fall projects, and just really enjoyed this hop. I know I definitely did. I love everything fall. And yeah, so today's theme was let's get spicy. Now I know all of y'all just knew I was gonna do a pumpkin spice latte coffee cup of some sort. I know y'all are putting money down bets. Guess what? I did not. I did not choose a pumpkin spice latte as my project. I chose the spice ginger. I chose ginger tea. So I drink a lot of ginger tea. It's great for your stomach, especially when you have 99 problems like I do. I drink it year round, but during like September, October timeframe, the stores start putting out ginger tea that have different flavors, right? And I tried this ginger tea here. I'm not in the States, and so I don't think we have this in the States. This ginger tea here, it's a 3-in-1, and it has creamer and spices, right? So I looked it up, and it's basically the same spices that we put in pumpkin spice. Yeah, like, you know, like little jars of pumpkin spice that you're supposed to put in your pumpkin pies or whatever. It's the same, and this is so good. So I was like, okay, I want to do something with that. So I went on Pinterest to get some ideas, and what I came across was Chicken Scrap. This is her blog from 2013, and she made this cute little box with a pocket, which I did. And guess what? On the back of her tag, she had a recipe for pumpkin spice creamer. Right? And so it's basically, I can make my my alley tea at home. Yay! I'm excited. So I don't know her name. Let me see if I can scroll down and find her name. I'm not sure what her name is. But anyway, so Chicken Scrap, she made the recipe and put it in the box. Like, she just made it, put it in some like plastic tubes, and put it in the box. I don't need this much of this recipe, so I did not do that. I just put the ginger tea, and then when I get back to the States and make these for like craft fairs, I'm gonna try to find tubes of ginger tea. If not, then I probably will put in like the Starbucks pumpkin spice coffee tubes, because you know they come like this too, and they have pumpkin spice. Or maybe I will make these and put it in there. I just know some people get kind of, well, when I say some people, me, I get funny when it's not store packaged. So, you know. But anyway, so the recipe is super fun. It's just coffee creamer, powdered sugar, and then your pumpkin spices: cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, cloves, and allspice. How fun is that, right? You can change this box in a card for any season, any occasion. You can put like Hershey Kisses in there. Or, you know, it'd be really cute too if you had like sprinkles or M&Ms or something, and then, you know, this little happy birthday card. Whatever you want it to be, it can be. Now, Chicken Scrap's box came, she designed it in the design space. She took a chapstick box and a card, but I figured it out. It was, yeah, it took a little bit, but we got it. So we're gonna go ahead and make this, okay? I did do a little template for you because it's kind of hard, not hard, but you kind of have to pay attention to where I tell you where to cut, because you're looking for a specific shape. This side of it, it's gonna be easy to do. Well, all of it's easy. It's just this side, you're gonna recognize it more because this is the box. And if you've been following me on Wednesdays, you've been making boxes with me, so we don't have a problem with this. But you do have to pay attention to where you're cutting, okay? So let's go ahead and get this together. We need a piece of paper that is 8 by 11. So let's go ahead and cut that down to 8 by 11, which is already 11. Cut it to 8. Now, on the short side, we're going to make the following score marks. And I do need my cheat sheet here. I need 1/2 inch. The measurements are in the description box. 1/2 inch. 1.5. 6.5. 7 and 7.5. So those of you who are used to my box formula, you're like, wait a minute, we have an extra score line on the other side. We do. We do. It's supposed to be there. So let me see here if I can get, I was trying to make the color better. I don't know why it's so dark, but it's okay. All right, so on the long side, we need to score it at 1/2, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 7.5, and 10.5. Okay, there we go. So now you have your paper that looks like this. You can't see the score lines, I know. So I did a template. So it looks like this, okay? Why is my camera? All right, so what we're gonna do is we're going to put your scored lines in a very specific place. So you guys know I love starting positions. My starting positions are usually on the right. Today's starting position is gonna be on the left because the box is on the left. So I'm gonna go ahead and burnish my lines so you guys can see them. Yes, I know I have the template, but let's go ahead and varnish. So this one you definitely don't want to skip out on the varnishing. It'll just make your life so much easier. This is my flimsy paper, so I don't have to varnish as hard as I normally do. All right, here we go. More score lines there. And then we have 3 score lines on the bottom. Okay. Now, here's your paper. So your starting position is going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 score lines are going to start to your left, and your 3 score lines here are going to be on the bottom. Okay. Here it is. You can see a little bit of color. You want the 4 to the left. So we can start that. Okay. Now, as you can see here, red means cut. We're going to cut a bunch of drop off. It was just easier for me to put the extra score lines in than try to figure out with my pocket. I like pockets to have an actual bottom pocket and not just glue it down. I don't know, just because I'm reckless with my glue. So I wanted the pocket, so we got a pocket. All right, so what we need to do, we're going to start on the bottom. So I'm going to cover that up. So what we need to do is cut up the score line, cut up the score line, the 4 score lines, okay? So let's take our scissors and starting at the left, vertical, 1, 2, 3, and 4 score lines, okay? Now, this first section, we do not need any 3 of those squares. Go ahead and cut those 3 squares off. I did not do a good job. Okay, so we cut those 3 squares off, okay? Now, this is just our regular box top. We're doing this part here. Let me show y'all my poor little box. I was reckless with the glue and I accidentally glued my flap inside and I had to like rip it. So I was kind of sad. I'm just gonna put a piece of paper on the back to kind of cover that and everything will be fine. Cause I'm actually giving this to somebody, so I'll just cover that little rip mark up and it'll be all right. But anyway, that's what we're doing, the bottom one. So now this section that we have left, what we're gonna do is go ahead and cut off those first 2 rectangles. And we're gonna miter. Okay, there we go. Now, the next section, this is the 3rd section, don't touch it, leave it alone, okay? That's your flap, leave it alone. Come over here to the 4th section, so 1, 2, 3, 4, cut off the first 2 rectangles and miter. Okay. So now you should have your paper that looks like that on the bottom. We're just doing the bottom right now. Okay, so it looks like that. All right, so let's go ahead and do the top. Now, the top, I gotta do the same thing. I gotta cut up the score lines, cut in half, miter, miter. Same thing when I'm making my boxes. You're gonna hear the same thing. Okay, now if you're following along with me, I cannot work from the top up. I gotta make it down to the bottom. So I have my paper in the starting position. I'm just gonna flip it from top to bottom like this, okay? That's how I have to cut to make it right. So now what we're gonna do, this first section again, we're going to cut off the 3 squares, or excuse me, a rectangle and a square on this side. We don't need either one of those, okay? We're going to cut up the score line, the next score line, and the next score line. Okay? We're just making our tabs. Now, this section here, which is technically the 2nd section, we're going to cut off roughly half and miter and miter. Okay? Next, this section right here, don't touch it. Leave it alone. Just like this one, leave it alone. Don't touch it. Okay. So 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to the 4th section. That one, we're going to cut that in half, miter, miter. Miter and miter. Okay? Now, because it's upside down, I'm going to put it back in starter position. I'm just going to flip the top down to the bottom. Okay, so now we have this. Yes, I'm going super slow because I'm making cuts I don't normally make, and I want to make sure every craft level can do this box. It's really easy. If you've been doing boxes with me, you're probably able just to look at this and you're already done. All right, so we're just going to miter this little flap here and that little flap there. Okay, so we're here like this. Now we need to move over to this big section here. This is easy. You're cutting both rectangles off and all 3 rectangles down there off. Okay, so we're going to move over here to the score line. This is the bottom. Cut all the way up. And we're going to cut those 3 rectangles completely off. Like so. Okay. There we go. Go on. Now, take your top, flip it to the bottom, and do the same thing. Cut up your score line, but this time we only have 2 rectangles to cut off. Like so. Okay? Flip it back to starting position. So you look like this. Okay. Now we need to work on this very last piece. We're going to work on the bottom. Okay. As you can see here on the bottom, we just need to remove the 2 rectangles and this square. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and, oh, actually, I guess it's, the 3 squares we have to remove. So you should have something that looks like this, and then go ahead and remove this little square and miter your flap. Okay, and you do want to miter these as well. Okay, so what we just removed were this rectangle, all 3 of these squares, and then we mitered. So we look like this. Okay, there we go. Now the top, we're just removing those, the 4, you know, like the 4 pieces. We're removing everything from the top. Easy. And we're gonna miter. Okay, so now you have this. Perfect. Okay, I know it looked hard, it's easy. All right, so at this point, you need to decide, well, after you clean up all your little pieces here, you need to decide what side you want your box on and what side you want your pocket on. What do I mean by that? Well, for this particular project, my box is on the left, my pocket's on the right. You can flip your paper to make it box on the right, pocket on the left. So whichever way you want yours done, you're gonna flip your paper, and I'll show you this here. So for me, I want my box on the right. So it looks like this. I'm just gonna flip it over like this and fold it in, glue it down. Fold it in, glue it down. Okay? If you want your box on the other side, then keep it like this and fold her in and fold her in. Okay, so whatever side you want that box on, do you. All right, so for me, I'm having mine on the left, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm gonna leave it in this position. So I'll leave it to where the 3 score marks are on the bottom, because I don't want you to see that extra score mark, because you can absolutely see it, but it's on the bottom. Who cares? Because I'm doing my box on this side, I need to re-burnish it to this side. Don't fuss about it. You know, you force your paper to go on whatever side you want it to go on. You cannot mess it up, okay? Do not worry about it. Just refold your paper. You're the boss of this paper. The paper is not the boss of you. All right, so I'm going to work on my box side first, okay? First, what I'm gonna do is go ahead and corner around my my middle finger flaps, because it does look like a middle finger. Okay, and here we go. Okay, so once you decide which way you want your box to go, now we need to go ahead and do our window. Okay, so for me, I don't mind putting the pattern paper afterwards, and you got to do like some guesswork a little bit, or you can go ahead and do your pattern paper first, and I will show you where to place your pattern paper. So if your box is going to be here on the left hand side, you need to put your window here. Okay, and then to see that, here's my window. Okay, so it's the 1, 2, 3, third section with the long middle fingers. That's where you need to put your window, okay, on the inside. You need to flip it over. This is where you're going to put your pattern paper. Okay, this is your paper on that side. All right, so you can put your paper first, or it's easier if you have dies. I don't have any long, skinny, rectangular dies with me, I don't think. Let me see something. I might have those dies with me. I have the Jaded Blossom word dies. That would be perfect right here, but I don't think those are the ones I brought. Nope. But I do have a die from Sweet Sentiments. All right, so if you have a die, you can absolutely use one of these long word dies and cut it out and make your life a lot easier. But if you don't have any dies, just use an X-Acto knife. That's what I actually did here. I just drew out kind of the rectangle that I wanted. I used an X-Acto knife and a ruler, and I cut around it. So whatever you want. This time I'll just, you know what? We're just gonna X-Acto knife it. All right, so if you don't want to put your pattern paper first, then you're gonna have to X-Acto knife your pattern paper. So I would suggest go ahead and put your pattern paper on. So let's just say my pattern paper's on. On the inside, I want it to be about 1/4 of an inch from either side. And I want it to be about 1/2 an inch from the top and the bottom. So I'm gonna mark here, draw down, come over here, 1/4 of an inch from the score line. Oops. This is gonna be your most time-consuming part. And I mean, obviously it doesn't matter it doesn't matter if it's perfect or not. You're just making a window, which mine is not. I don't know what it is. Anyway, so now you're just gonna go ahead and take your X-Acto knife and you're gonna cut, you know, your window. You could, I mean, you don't have to use a pencil. Some of y'all are great with this X-Acto knives. Y'all could have just hand did this. I'm not. All right, so go ahead and pop it out. There we go. Oh, I did a great job. All right, so there's my window. And then you're gonna take your acetate, or if you don't have acetate, you can take a piece of packing tape and just, you know, put one piece on top of the other to make a clear window. You can do that. I had a piece of acetate for this project, but I don't know what I did with it. Here it is. So you're gonna go ahead and take your acetate. Obviously make sure it's what you need. I did 7/8 of an inch. Just so I know it would fit. And then you're gonna use your glue if you have the patience to let it dry, or you're going to use your your 1/8 of an inch score tape, which that's what I would normally use. You know, let me just show you. Okay. Here we go. I'm not gonna do it for real because this one I'm just throwing away. So put your 1/8 of an inch score tape, you know, all around your rectangle on all 4 sides, and then put your acetate on top of that. All right, so we have our acetate in, okay? Now what we're going to do is, if you're here in this position with me, on the left-hand side, you have your 1/2 inch score mark and then 1 inch here. So on this second score line, you're gonna fold that in. Okay, so you still see that my flap is there. You're gonna apply glue or tape or whatever you have. You're gonna apply it right here. Okay, we're still folded on that second score line. You're gonna take your whole project and you're gonna fold on this 4th score line, okay? Make sure your glue is varnished in. Let it dry, but you guys know I don't have any patience to do. Flip it over, pop your box up. Now, hopefully you only put glue on your 1/2 inch and you didn't glue your box down. Okay, so now you're just gonna, go ahead and close it up. This extra score line here on the bottom, you have 3 score lines. Just ignore the one in the middle. You can cover it with a piece of paper if it bothers you, but it's on the bottom. If you accidentally made that your top, honestly, nobody's gonna care. But if you care, put a little piece of paper over it and call it covered up, okay? Like you can, oh, look at this. Just cover it up, okay? And then put your items in, whatever you're putting in, your tea, your coffee, your creamer, whatever you're putting in, your candies. There you go, okay? Perfect. So, because this is a fold flat box, I'm gonna undo it. Obviously before, I'm not gonna put my candy and stuff until I'm done with it. Fold it flat so I can work on this side. Now, this side has the 2 1/2 inch score marks. You do want to make sure that they are not touching. And how we do that is we're just going to keep mitering until they are not touching. So, it doesn't really matter how much you have to take off. You just don't want them touching. Mine are no longer touching. There we go. Okay, so here's another decision you have to make. I know, decisions. You have to decide if you want your pocket to start from the diagonal to go this way, or if you want your diagonal to be, hold on, let me put this together so you can see. This way, okay? So it doesn't matter which way, if you want your diagonal to face down towards the box or away from the box. It doesn't matter. The example, hers was this way. I didn't like that only because sometimes I'm awkward trying to get the my tag in and out. And so I didn't like that. And plus because I had already made the tag first, and so my blue leaf didn't fit, so I had to turn it this way. That's the real reason. Okay, so I'm gonna do my diagonal like this one. So I am horrible at diagonals, okay? I don't know the secret formula, so I just gotta do what I gotta do. This is how I did mine, okay? I looked this way and I said, all right, I need it to come from here to here. So I took a ruler, I picked a spot, which I think I picked 2 inches. I marked it with a pencil, and then I went like this. Okay, took my scissors, I turned it upside down because, you know, that's how I work. And with my flap folded, I went like this. Okay, and then I cut it off. That to me was the easiest, least stressful way to make that diagonal, okay? I know there's ways where you can make it, it's like a little different shape than this, and I like it better. I don't know how to do it. And I didn't feel like trying to find a tutorial or anything like that. So now I said, you know what? I want a little bit more off. So I'm going to take a little bit more off. Craft easy. There you go. And if you forget to fold the flap, it doesn't matter, because when you fold it, just cut off whatever piece shows. Craft easy. Okay, so there's my finished. Now all we're going to do is apply our glue to our flaps. Obviously you're going to do a better job. Fold over, burnish in. There we go. Close your bottom flap. Put in your snap or your tea or your whatever you're putting in there. Mine, I have to kind of crunch it in a little bit. Okay. Put my snap in there. And voila, make you a tag. This is just a simple tag. If you want this recipe, I will put it down in the description box so you can just cut and paste. Stick your tag in there. You are all set. Okay. They are very quick to make. It's just, I wanted to do it really slow. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.